Of all the disease to get, this ain't it, y'all. Lou Gehrig's disease is one of the worst diseases oh my goodness. Okay, I remember watching early days of Dr. Kevorkian, and one of the patients he treated was a white guy, and he had Lou Gehrig's, and he was like, "Get me out of here, man." That man couldn't even swallow. Let's go.
Johnson, one of the fastest running backs in NFL history, shattered records throughout his career.
80-yard run.
So
This is
fast,
sad
he
as
earned
hell.
the nickname CJ2K.
Chris Johnson is going to have a Titans touchdown.
He retired in 2017 and has been out of the spotlight. But today, he is sharing something deeply personal.
You've chosen to share some personal news today, and it takes a tremendous amount of courage to share it. What would you like for people to know?
First, I want people.
The man can't even talk. He's out of here. Oh my God. He can't even talk. Wow. Get me out of here, because this is not what to have. This is one of the worst things you could have. Basically, all your muscles just lock and seize up, man, and you can't do nothing. Is that a motherfucking ant? Get out of here. All right, let's continue.
To know that I'm still me. ALS has changed what my body can do, but it hasn't changed who I am.
In 2025, at the age of 39, Johnson was diagnosed with ALS, the disease progressing so rapidly that he now uses his eyes to trigger a speech-generating device to speak.
Why do you
Wow.
want to share this now?
Because if sharing my story helps even one person get diagnosed sooner, inspires more research, or gives another family hope, then it's worth it.
Johnson says he was in the prime of his life, working out daily and running errands with his 4 children until ALS changed everything.
Let's go back to last year. When did you notice that something was off?
I first noticed weakness in my right hand. At first, it was little things like my grip didn't feel right, and I wasn't as strong as I've always been.
His wife, Brittany, thought it was something much simpler.
Brittany, what did you think it was at the time?
I thought because of football and, his career that it had to be something with that, maybe a pinched nerve or something along those lines, but never ALS.
And what did doctors tell you initially about your condition?
We hoped it was something else, but after thorough testing, they finally came down with a diagnosis of ALS. They told us about a medication that might extend life by a few months. Then they told us to get our affairs in order. It was hard hearing that, but after watching Good Morning America and seeing Dr. Merritt with Eric Dane.
And Eric Dane went quick. So the best thing that can happen for him is he goes quickly. Because Eric Dane was out of here in 3 months. 6 months, tops. The best thing that can happen for him, and I hate to say it, is you get out of here quick. This is not a disease you want to live with for a year or two. This is just unimaginable suffering. But we'll go over, how bad ALS is.
We reached out to her. She was willing to think more creatively, offering experimental treatments that might help and advance research.
Dr. Merritt Sikovich is a neurologist and leading ALS researcher at Mass General Brigham Neuroscience Institute.
Chris has been on standard of care, which is about 3 different medications that slow down the illness, but he was also part of a clinical trial, a therapy that decreases inflammation, and I think that helped him a lot.
With no family history of ALS, doctors believe his is a case of sporadic ALS, the most common form of the disease, affecting about 90% of patients, occurring randomly in people with no known family history of ALS.
That's one of the reasons this disease can be so shocking. It can happen to someone who never expected it.
And for me, it's shocking. It's hard to process it for me because I know you, Chris, from just the incredible athlete that you are. How do you process it?
Honestly, I don't know if you ever fully process it. At first you're in shock, then you realize you have 2 choices. You can give up or you can fight. I chose to fight.
And Brittany, what was it like for you when you found out that Chris had ALS?
All I could think about was our kids and how young they are. You're in denial. You want it to be anything else. You want the doctors to be wrong. The life that we previously had is now a thing of the past. But we're still hopeful. We're hopeful, that a breakthrough will happen and that, God, a miracle will happen,
And what kind of support has helped you the most through this?
Without a doubt, my wife, Brittany, she hasn't left my side through any of this. My kids are also a huge part of why I keep going. Every day I wake up wanting more time with them to make more memories and just be their dad. They give me a reason to keep fighting.
I know, Brittany, the unsung heroes are the caregivers. So what has this been like for you?
Oh, it's tough. It's tough. Like, we have good days, we have bad days. You know, our life has shifted so much, and it's a heavy workload, but I have no doubt that this is what, you know, I was called to do.
So how has it progressed since you've been diagnosed?
It's continued to progress much faster than I ever imagined. I want people to understand just how quickly ALS can attack your body.
Yeah.
Just over a year ago, I was picking up my 7-year-old daughter, so she make a wish with her birthday cake. Today, I couldn't do that.
And what do you hope people, or you wish people understood about living with ALS?
That your mind stays sharp. People sometimes look at the physical disability and assume you're not still the same person inside. I still think the same, I still dream, I still love my family. My body just doesn't cooperate.
What are the doctors telling you about the treatment and the progression?
Having doctors who are willing to collaborate and explore every reasonable option has meant...
Listen, it's a death sentence, man. There is no, they're not even close to sniffing a treatment for this. You know what I'm saying? They're nowhere near. Man, I hate this for him. Look all the weight he lost. So clearly he's not mobile. Oh, I hate this for him. I hate this for him.
A lot to my family and me. Right now there isn't a cure, but we're seeing more research, more clinical trials, and more promising ideas than ever before. Seeing how hard these doctors and researchers are working gives me hope. As long as they're fighting for people with ALS, I'm going to keep fighting too.
Yeah, and I want to thank Chris and Brittany for inviting me to the home with their family for that interview. And soon after Chris was diagnosed, they recorded his voice, which is why the speech-generating machine sounds exactly like him. And Chris also told me awareness is great, but it's not enough. ALS needs funding. He was diagnosed relatively early and is doing everything he can, but still can't even hold a cup. That's why early detection, more research, and better treatments are so important. But he said if you're newly diagnosed, don't lose hope. Research is moving faster than ever.
Listen, I had a friend that was in the early stages of MS. She took herself out. So the average ALS patient survives 3 years after diagnosis. The only drug that slows it by a few months. Yeah, it's just Jesus, man. So 90% of ALS cases are sporadic, no genetic link, no family history, no identifiable cause. It just simply arrives. Nasty work. This is a nasty disease. ALS. Okay. So painless but gradually worsening muscle weakness, atrophy, which leads to the loss of voluntary movement, speech, and breathing capabilities. Your diaphragm collapses. You can't swallow. This is some bad shit to have, man. Occasional difficulty swallowing, chewing, or excessive drooling.
ALS is a disease of progressive weakness. So as opposed to a sudden onset, for example, a stroke, where all of a sudden you become very disabled, in ALS, it's something that starts much more subtly. And often it takes about a year for people to finally receive the diagnosis, because you don't wake up one day with all of the signs and symptoms. So the signs and symptoms are weakness primarily, but it is progressive. And it does not come and go. And it tends to start in one place in the body and then spread slowly to other parts of the body. And then, as I said, it does ultimately affect the swallowing and breathing muscles. And so people end up dying of respiratory insufficiency, or they can die of complications from problems with swallowing if those aren't tended to. I'm impotent as a clinician to stop the progression of ALS. It's been a difficult disease, like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, other neurodegenerative diseases. It's very hard to know why that's happening. But I'm very proud and passionate about the multidisciplinary care, which means a whole bunch of providers in one spot who see people who have ALS at Ohio State, who try and to help anticipate problems before they happen and support them through that journey. All the while fighting like heck to understand the why and how to stop it. The number one risk factor is age. So it affects people who are in general in their sort of mid-50s to 60s or so, a little bit earlier than the other big neurodegenerative diseases, but it's a very wide sort of distribution there. So age is the number one thing. People who serve in the U.S. military are twice as likely.
Damn. So your age, military, and former athletes. Was he vaccinated? Don't know, but I highly doubt that had anything to do with this. I highly doubt that's an issue. But once again, there is no rhyme or reason for ALS. It just shows up at your doorstep.
To have ALS as other people. It is, of course, anecdotally known that people who are athletes and people who tend to be otherwise healthy tend to develop ALS for whatever reason. And sometimes I wonder if being well endowed in their motor neurons puts them at risk in some way. But to be honest, things like pesticides, environmental exposures, all these other things, it's very hard to nail down those exact things. I would say what we've learned lately that has really been helpful is that there's definitely also a genetic predisposition, and there's definitely more genes associated with ALS now than there ever were. So I guess I would.
This was made famous by Lou Gehrig. This is what they call Lou Gehrig's disease. He was a former Yankee, and he died from this. Matter of fact, yeah, one of Dr. Kevorkian's early patients was a man that had ALS. Dr. Kevorkian, ALS patient. And he made a video. I remember watching that shit, and it was just like, holy cow. Is this him? Thomas Uke? This is him. Oh, this is the trial.
Your Honor, the first evidence that we're going to offer is people who propose exhibit.
And he recorded a video saying, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be here. Yeah, this is him right here.
Okay. ALS. And when was the first symptom? Do you remember the first symptom you had? First of all, how old are you, Tom? 52. What was that? 52. 52. When did the first symptoms become obvious to you? 94. 94. What happened? What was the first symptom? The left. The face. They never came back. You had an operation and never returned?
Yeah, this is what Chris Johnson's future, immediate future will look like. The good thing with Eric Dane, he got out of here quick. The only thing you could hope to do is get out of here quickly and don't suffer for too long. But this is his fate.
Was the left leg? Yeah. Left knee. What your leg was? What that was weak after that? So it's gone, and that. Right. That going on to be safety first. And do it. 60%. When did you have to get into a wheelchair? How many years was it after the start of the disease? Maybe. I was 97. Can you move your legs at all? Yeah. How about your left arm? Try it. That's all you can do? You can't lift your hand off the thing now. The only thing you can move is your right arm? That's as high as you can take it? Can you make a fist? Can you spread your fingers apart now? Okay. Can you swallow at all? Yeah. How about your breathing? Is that hard for you?
Okay, I can't watch any more of this. Can you imagine not being able to swallow? This is a death sentence. Oh. Oh. Nope, I'm not doing that. You really gonna make me do this? Nope. And they still found that man guilty. This was the video. Oh, well, yeah, they're putting it behind. Okay.
Until the end, Jack Kevorkian said he had no regrets. Stripped of his medical license and sent to prison for more than 8 years, he held firm to his conviction that everyone has the right to die.
It's now up to the people to fight for their right, and this is a right. It's a natural right. You're born with that right.
A pathologist by trade, he began his assisted suicide campaign in 1990, allowing an Alzheimer's patient to take her own life with his so-called suicide machine. Kevorkian's case bedeviled prosecutors. 4 times he beat charges in the state of Michigan.
Not guilty.
In 1999, he was finally convicted for second-degree murder after providing this video to CBS, which showed him administering a fatal drug injection to a man with Lou Gehrig's disease. The national debate over assisted suicide will outlive its most vocal champion. Oregon enacted the so-called...
I know Europe has the suicide pods and all that good stuff. America is behind when it comes to things like this. Extremely behind. Will always be behind. Yeah, nobody's had to live like this. Stephen Hawking is a different case. Stephen Hawking was not born that way. The conspiracy theory is Stephen Hawking was not born that way, and they hit him with something because he was talking too much. Make of it what you will, but they said he was talking too much, and they hit him with a needle, and he was like that ever since until he died. Yeah, this is not it, man. This ain't it. ALS is disgusting disease, man. That's an instant death sentence. Let's see, early signs.
About 1 in 400 people could develop ALS in their lifetime. There is no one test that can diagnose ALS. Unfortunately, we have to do multiple tests, and we need to put them all together to reach the diagnosis. Here are some signs and symptoms of ALS that you should not ignore. One of the symptoms of ALS you should not ignore is weakness. Weakness when it develops over weeks or months.
Bruh, I hear you, but nobody, and I mean nobody would trade places with Stephen Hawking, given all the accolades he accommodated and how highly he was regarded for his. Ain't nobody trying to be like Stephen. Man, okay, do we have to run its back? That's all you got to say. Well, his mind, he had a beautiful mind. Fuck out of here, bruh. Stop trying to be nice. Y'all bugging, man. Ain't nobody trying to be like this. Ain't nobody.
I hope you...
Fuck your mind. The hell? No. You bugging. Sir, you bugging. We trying to be like this.
You will indulge me while I look back over my life in physics and reflect on how our understanding...
Yeah, please raise your hand. You trying to be like, you want to exchange a 180 IQ with and be a prisoner in your body and be regarded as one of the most intellectually brilliant people on the planet, and you can't do shit. Man, if you don't get the hell out of here, man, Boy, if you don't miss me with that bullshit. Let's continue.
Comes with wasting of the
Man,
muscle,
talking about
twitching,
unstoppable
but
mind.
without
Man,
pain,
don't get that mega
numbness,
mind
or
shit out of
tingling
here.
could be an early sign of ALS. Another sign of ALS that you should not ignore is slurred speech. Slurred speech, when it develops over weeks or months, where the speech is usually slow and nasal, and it may come with difficulty swallowing and weight loss. And if the MRI of the brain done to look for reason for a slurred speech does not show any lesion and is negative or normal, this slurred speech could be an early sign of ALS. If you think that you are experiencing any of these symptoms, or you need more information about ALS, reach out to your primary care physician, make an appointment with a neurologist, or go to nm.org for more information.
Yeah, no.
ALS stands for amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. It's a neurodegenerative condition that attacks mostly the muscles. Most commonly is weakness in one arm or one leg, as well as difficulty breathing, difficulty swallowing, or difficulty chewing. The first symptom that people usually know of ALS is weakness. Weakness of the hand, weakness of the foot, perhaps a drop foot. They're walking differently, they may start falling, or twitching of their muscles. They should contact their local neurologist, or if they need a referral, they should ask their primary to please refer them to a neurologist. And remember, the faster, the better, because that way we can start medication.
Yeah, because this thing spreads like a wildfire. And yeah, and then get your affairs in order.